Hello everyone and welcome to Tribe Daily. Today we're going to be looking at Luke chapter 4 and we're going to be reading verse 28 through 31. All of the people in the synagogue were furious when they heard this. They got up, drove him out of the town, and took him to the brow of the hill on which the town was built in order to throw him down the cliff. But he walked right through the crowd and went on his way. Then he went down to Capernaum, a town in Galilee, and on the Sabbath began to teach the people. So before these few verses in this week, we've been studying about Jesus, and we went through the temptation of Jesus, and now we are in the section where it talks about Jesus being rejected in his own hometown of Nazareth. And so at the start of this, Jesus quotes scripture about himself, and that he was sent to proclaim freedom for the prisoners, and that he went into the synagogue, and a lot of people didn't know who he was, what he was talking about, and like they asked, "Is this Joseph's son?" they asked. And so when we go on in this section, at the very end, it talks about all the people in the synagogue were furious when they heard this. And so the question is, why would they dislike hearing this? And so despite knowing what their unbelief would lead to, Jesus did not hold back his pronouncements about his messianic identity, or about the crowd's capacity to behave as their rebellious ancestors had. And so Jesus entrusted himself to the Father's plan for him. And we see God's preservation here for Jesus on earth, that the crowd didn't take him and throw him off a cliff, but rather he walked right through the crowd and went on his way. And here we kind of see the courage of Christ in announcing himself as to who he was and what he had come to do. And so the question I just want to leave you guys with today is, how does this passage speak to your biggest fear when it comes to telling others about Jesus? And so I want you guys to remember that we too can trust God to complete his plans, knowing that no harm will come to us unless he permits it. And even if harm does come to us, we take it as glory being given to God, that our persecution means that we are proclaiming the truth, and that God is being glorified in his gospel being shared and preached. And so what is that fear that is holding you back, and what is that fear when it comes to telling others about Jesus? And so I just want to encourage you with this, that Jesus himself announced himself. Jesus proclaimed his who he was, his identity. And so why would we not, if we are reborn through the righteousness of Christ, would we not announce who he is as well? And so just a word of encouragement is, don't be afraid. God gives courage to those who need it, and he desires for us to share his truth with others who cannot see it. And so as you go about your weekend, just keep that in mind and take that opportunity, and don't let it pass by without thinking twice about taking action for the gospel and for the Lord. So I love you guys, and I hope you have a great weekend. Spend some time outside, get some sunshine if there is any, and hope to see you again soon.